What's going on, guys? White Fox 1225 here with another Elder Scrolls Online Saturday. Super exciting episode today because we're going to be talking about Orsinium that was announced a couple days ago. Finally got information on a new DLC. It's coming a little sooner than I expected. We got pretty much all the details about it, so we're going to be going over all of that. And of course, we're also going to be going over the news. We had a couple stuff to talk about with the Crown Store, some actually controversy and stuff like that. So we're going to be covering all that. Then we're going to be going into the Orsinium stuff, really just summing up everything you have to know. We're going to go into really big detail. Probably going to be a bit of a longer episode, so I hope you guys are down for that. But let's just get right into it. So let's talk about the Crown Store first and a couple of news topics from the last couple of weeks. So first off, going with the Crown Store, the glass motif was added, so you can now buy that in the Crown Store. You can also buy the material you need to craft glass armor, and also Mages Guild costumes were added too. But the big controversy was over the glass motif. So if you guys didn't know, the glass motif came with the Imperial City update, and it's something that's pretty hard to get. So a lot of people will spend a really long time grinding monsters and trying to get pieces of the glass motif so they could put it together. It was not really an understatement to say it was really hard, and it was pretty much the rarest item in the game to have and the most expensive to get. So they added the glass motif to the Crown Store for, I believe, like $40 or something like that. So it's definitely not cheap. But a lot of people are upset because they added it to the game pretty soon after the DLC. Now, ZeniMax did say ahead of time that it was going to be added to the Crown Store. I guess some people thought they were going to wait a little bit longer, so it did make some people upset. Personally, just my opinion on it, I really don't think it matters. One, because $40 is a lot of money to pay for a glass motif. Most players aren't going to put out $40 just to get this, style. Because $40, that's almost a AAA game. It's really close to 60. So I don't think a lot of people are gonna get it. So it's still pretty rare to have, and it still makes your effort worth like $40 to get the motif. And beyond that, they did say it was coming. So whether or not it came quicker than people expected, that's just kind of up to opinion. But I really don't think it's that big of an issue. And third, the game really has to be funded, and they really need to make money. So this is a huge money maker for them, I'm sure. And since they did say it was coming to the Crown Store, I really don't see the controversy, and I really think ZeniMax was in their rights to put it in the Crown Store with the last patch or update to the Crown Store. But moving on, guys, let's talk about the Halloween items or Witches Fest items. That is kind of, actually a lot of people in the community don't seem to mind, but personally it's something that bugged me a little bit. So I really wanted to take some time and talk about it today. So there is a bunch of new items coming to the Crown Store. Now they're all coming at different times. Some are coming October 8th and some are coming October 22nd. So I'll just quickly go through the things that are coming, and then I'll talk about why I'm bothered by some of them and my opinion on those. So coming October 8th, we have the Imperial Battle Mage costume pack. Now you guys can see all of these on the screen. I'll put pictures up. We have the Imperial Officer costume pack, and we also have the Mind Shriven skin, which is actually really cool. You can see on the screen again. And then we have the Hellstorm Ancestor Lizard pet. That's that Mind Shriven skin. I'm not sure if you'd call that a costume. It changes the way your character looks, but you can still put armor on and stuff. It's actually a really cool thing that they added. But coming October 22nd is the Pumpkin Spectre Polymorph, which you can see on the screen, and you can kind of see why it might cause a little bit of issue. The Scarecrow Spectre Polymorph, and then the Zombie Horse Mount. That looks really awesome. I'm actually really excited for that. So the thing that bothered me a little bit is obviously these are items that are meant to kind of profit on the fact that it's around Halloween time, and kind of the way they got around it was saying that they're for Witches Fest, which is actually a holiday in Tamriel, and it does take place in what would be their version of October. So it does kind of come at the right time, and Witches Fest is kind of a festival where people conjure monsters and stuff like that. So it does actually kind of make sense with the lore. What bothered me a little bit was that they're just so obviously Halloween-y. Not really. I actually wasn't bothered by the zombie horse. I think that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna pick it up. The Scarecrow polymorph, sorry, didn't bother me at all. What kind of bothered me a little bit was the pumpkin one. I think it's just kind of pretty obviously Halloween-y. There are pumpkins in the Elder Scrolls. We've seen them in the game before. It just kind of, I don't know, it felt more Halloween-y, so it didn't bother me too much, but I'm just hoping that they really don't go down the road of putting holiday featured items in the game, because this is an Elder Scrolls game. It takes place in Tamriel. It does not take place on Earth, and our holidays have no effect on that world. So I really hope they don't put like Valentine's items or like Christmas items, but I'm sure they'll use the New Life Festival, which takes place it's basically kind of their version of Christmas. I'm sure they'll use that for the Crown Store, but I'm really hoping we don't see anything too ridiculous or too Christmassy, like something we'd see in, like, I don't know, World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2. I really want them to stay true to the lore, so it didn't bother me too much, but I definitely won't be picking up the Pumpkin Polymorph. But there are some really cool things coming. Like I said, that zombie horse mount looks awesome. The lizard pet is really cool, probably pick that up. And we got a lot of cool stuff coming in the Crown Store, which we'll talk about later in the episode. But right now, let's just go right into Orsinium, because I know it's something we're all super excited about. So we've known Orsinium is going to be coming out for a little bit now. We knew it was the second DLC, but we were just waiting for announcements and more details. But that finally came the other day. So like I said, Orsinium is a PvE zone, in case you guys didn't know. You can play with your friends. You can also play solo. It's like a traditional zone, like something like the Rift in the game, or Auridon, or Glenumbra. It's a zone like that. It's just a PvE zone with lots of quests. It's going to have some, public dungeons. It's also going to have some world bosses, like a traditional zone that we saw in the vanilla launch of the game. Now, let me just quickly get out of the way the release dates, and then we'll go into all the juicy facts about the DLC. So first off, it's on PTS now. You can go practice and test it and all that good stuff. You can just hop right in there. If you guys don't know how to do that, there's good instructions on their website. You guys can check it out, and it's going to be released PC and Mac on November 2nd, 2015. For Xbox One, November 17th, 2015. And it's going to be released on the PS4 on the 18th of November, 2015. So pretty close. And I speculated before, and any people who follow my videos, I speculated it was going to come out in December. Just kind of made sense with the 4-month the quarterly launch system that they have going on, or they said that they're going to do. So this actually came pretty soon. I'm not going to go too far into speculation of why. I think maybe it has to do with the launch of Fallout 4, trying to get it out before then. We really don't know, but this is going to come out really soon, so less than a month away, which is really exciting. But the DLC is going to come free with ESO Plus, and it's also going to be 3,000 crowns, which equals about $25 to buy that crown pack in the store. So you're going to have to dish out $25. I would probably recommend getting an ESO Plus membership. Just personally, I know I say that a lot, but it's really worth it, because you get those crowns for pets and stuff, and you also get the DLC free, so why not? But moving into the, all the details and awesome stuff, we got 20 hours of content, roughly, it said. They've said it's the biggest PvE zone they've ever made, and I can honestly say by looking at all the stuff in the live stream, it definitely does look that way. So any character of any level can do this zone, which is huge. A lot of people assumed it was just going to be veteran rank 15 or something like that, and you were going to have to do it as endgame sort of, but not true. Your character is going to scale up, kind of like you do in Cyrodiil, so you're just going to get scaled up, and you are going to be able to do all the quests no matter what rank you are, which is really cool, because then new players can hop in the DLC and play it, and they don't always have to watch this new awesome content come out that they can't play. So a really great job, and I'm sure that this is what they're going to be doing with all their DLC, whether it's an adventure zone or just a PvE zone like this. I'm sure all of their zones are going to be scaled for you, so that's pretty cool for all those new players and people who thought they weren't going to be able to play this DLC, because now you can. So just in case you guys aren't familiar, let me give you guys a little bit of background of what Orsinium is, where it is, and what the story of the DLC is all going to be about. So Orsinium is the home of the orcs, even though it's been destroyed and invaded and taken over like 1,000 times throughout all of the history of its existence. It is the home of the orcs mainly, and even though the DLC zone is called Orsinium, the actual area it's in is called Hrothgar. So it's the home of the orcs, like I said, and we haven't seen it since Daggerfall, so it's been quite a while, and definitely haven't gotten a good look at it, because obviously the graphics and stuff were different back then. But it's definitely cool that we're going to be returning. So one cool thing they did with this DLC was they gave all new architecture, all new voicing, even new music. So this is a really new area that you haven't explored. It's not going to be like they kind of just used the old architecture, and just put it in here, or just used old characters' voices and old models. It's all new. It's a completely new area for us to explore, and a place we haven't seen in quite a while, and it's going to be something completely different than we've seen in the game, which is really exciting for me at least. So you're also going to get to see a little bit into the orc way of life, something that's kind of unique. You know, we're gonna get to see inside their clans and how they work and stuff like that. It's just exciting for me as a huge lore guy that we're actually gonna get to look at, you know, where the orcs live, because we haven't gotten to do that in such a long time. So I'm really excited about that. But in terms of like the landscape and stuff, it's actually part snowy and part like more foresty. The shots we've seen of the game just look absolutely beautiful. Their art team did just such a fantastic job. You know, the buildings, the city itself is massive and it's so beautiful, and then the area outside it is really great too. So if you guys like Skyrim, the landscape is actually something really similar to that, so you guys are in luck here. But we got a lot of cool stuff coming in the zone. Let me just hop in the story right now. Basically, without giving too much away or anything like that, you're gonna be helping an orc chief who's trying to rebuild the city of Orsinium. Sorry. So you're going to help him rebuild, and you're going to be doing that obviously by questing, and as you quest, you're actually going to be, you know, rebuilding the city. So as you do the quest, you're actually going to watch the city grow and actually be rebuilt, which is a really cool thing. So, you know, as you progress through the zone, probably by the end it'll be completely rebuilt, but when you get there it's only like halfway done or so, and that's a really awesome thing. And I'm sure it was not easy to program or anything like that. I'm really glad they paid attention to those details. It's gonna make you feel, you know, so accomplished when you actually get to finish the city. It's just such an awesome thing that I'm really glad they added. Well, like I said, guys, this zone is all new. We got new monsters, like I said, new music, new architecture. It's just gonna be a completely new thing that I think is just gonna blow us out of the water. I think it's gonna be just really a fantastic DLC. But before I get ahead of myself talking about how excited I am, let's just get into more detail. So it's gonna include 2 new public dungeons. So those 2 public dungeons are gonna be Old Orsinium and Rakidla, or I think I'm saying that right. I'm probably saying it wrong, just a heads up. But these are public dungeons, keep in mind. They're not like the 4-man dungeons where, you know, you go through, you got a lot of boss fights. These are different ones where it's kind of like the delves, but think of like a giant delve. They have it in the game before. I know a lot of people kind of avoided them and didn't play them, but they're basically just huge public dungeons that anyone can go in, and you're just going to have lots of bosses. There's huge mobs of enemies. These are, though, bigger than the ones that have been in the game before. By the way they were describing them, they're actually pretty massive. And there's going to be, you know, a lot of content in there. I'm sure there's going to be quests in there, lots of bosses to kill, and it's going to be a really awesome place to grind, I think. Now, this is also a place where there's going to be a lot of motif drops for the new crafting style that we're talking a little bit. So if you're looking to grind and get that, you know, that new motif, this is definitely going to be a go-to spot. Each of these dungeons you're going to have to go to. The motifs are actually split up the way they drop between the 2. So you're going to have to grind both of them in order to get a complete motif for yourself. Beyond that, just to go a little bit into the dungeons, they have fixed a lot of the phasing issues, so now your friends won't disappear as often when you're doing quests together in dungeons and stuff like that. So that's a really nice feature that I know a lot of people have been asking for a while. And also we're going to get 6 new world bosses. So those are the bosses throughout the world that you can just fight with a group of people and get XP for, you know, that just wander around the zone. Or they don't really wander, they just stay in one place. But they're in the zone, they're not in a dungeon or anything like that. And I'm sure you guys have encountered those, you know, just going through the regular story through those, you know, original PvE zones. But moving on, guys, let's talk about the thing I'm probably most excited for about this DLC, which is MAELSTROM Arena. So the MAELSTROM Arena is a solo arena, so think kind of like the Dragonstar Arena, but it's, you know, solo. So it's just going to be you, so you're going to be fighting, you know, mobs of enemies and bosses and all that good stuff. Kind of like the Dragonstar Arena. Again, it's really similar to that, except it's just you this time, which I kind of like because I do tend to play ESO a little bit more solo, especially when I'm doing PvE. But there's going to be 9 arenas to progress throughout the, you know, MAELSTROM Arena, like, complex, I guess you could say. So you're going to go through all of these, you know, they're all unique, they all look different, they all have different bosses and stuff like that. There's going to be quests throughout the whole thing, and you're going to be, you know, going through the arenas on the quests and stuff like that. So the arena comes in a veteran and non-veteran style, so anyone can play the normal style even if you're a veteran rank. It's just going to be a little easier, not as tough as the veteran obviously. And then you can play the veteran style or version once you reach veteran rank 1. So they said the veteran version is going to be really challenging, it's really going to test you, and it looks pretty tough from what we've seen. There are going to be leaderboards for the veteran you know, style of the arena though, and those leaderboards are only available once you reach veteran rank 16. But the top 100 people every week is going to get sent a really special weapon in the mail, so they're going to be pretty cool. They're going to be really unique. They're going to be variants, like they're going to be different, but they said they're going to be like they're all going to have special effects that, you know, other weapons in the games don't have. So definitely incentive to really, you know, grind through the arena and try to get the top score and get on those leaderboards. So you can, you know, repeat the arena as much as you want. These bosses do drop really good gear and really unique gear that you can't get anywhere else. Again, they're going to have, you know, the bosses are going to drop these weapons with these special effects that aren't in the game anywhere else. And then if you're on the leaderboard, you're going to get an extra special version of that weapon. So it's going to have like maybe an extra effect, or it's going to, you know, look slightly different, but it's going to be, you know, more unique than the ones the boss drops. But if you just want to, you know, grind the bosses, you're going to get these really unique weapons, you know, that have different effects, like maybe, I don't know, like it does an extra style of damage or something like that. So it's really a good reason to grind through this to get something that you can't get anywhere else. So I'm pretty excited for this, as you can probably tell. You know, I've been waiting for a really good solo challenge, and we're finally getting that with the MAELSTROM Arena. So if you're a solo player and you like to challenge yourself, it's definitely something to look forward to. So moving on into crafting, we have some cool stuff coming. We have a new motif style. We have the ancient orc style. So the motif is split up. You're going to have to find the different parts. A lot of it is through Orsinium, but you can also hotspot for the drops of those 2 public dungeons that I talked about earlier in the video. Now we're also getting the Akaviri style. It's going to be coming to everyone. We're going to be talking about that a little later in the video though, so we'll just hold off on that. There's going to be 4 new provisioner recipes for you guys to use, for all those provisioners out there. I know there's not that many of you guys, but if you are a provisioner, you're going to get those new recipes, which is nice. And there's also going to be 12 new set bonuses throughout the world that, you know, you can get, and get a special, you know, unique bonus to your set of armor that you can craft in those locations only. So other than that, guys, I already mentioned this, but there is over an hour of all new game music, so that's pretty cool. You know, for some people the soundtrack gets old. For me, I just play it and I never get bored of it. I think it's one of the most beautiful things ever. But there's going to be more added for Orsinium, which is really nice. It's, you know, it's a really nice touch that they didn't have to do, but they did anyway. So moving on past some of these details, let's get into the Crown Store and what's coming to the Crown Store with the DLC, and then even a little after the DLC, and we'll talk about that after. But first, let's just go into what's coming to the Crown Store with Orsinium. As always, you guys can see these on the screen. I'll put pictures up. But first, for the long awaited for me, is the bear mounts. I'm really excited about this. So there are bear mounts. It looks like there's going to be a couple different variants of the bear mounts. I think there's going to be like an Arctic bear, a brown bear, and a black bear. That's not confirmed. That was found in data mining, and again, I'll go over that after this in just a second. There's going to be bear pets. I think, again, there's like 3 variants of 3 different colors that you can get. But again, that's not confirmed. But it is confirmed that we have bear mounts and bear pets. They're definitely coming. But the only ones we've seen so far are the brown bears. The bears are actually really cute. They like roll around on the ground and make noises, but I'm definitely planning on picking up the mounts and the pets because they're like really cool. But we're also going to get 6 new collectible costume packs with the new update. They didn't go into detail about what they are, but we got some information through data mining. I know we've said it like 1,000 times. We're going to be going over that in just a second once we get this out of the way. Orsinium DLC Collector's Bundle will also be available. It's going to be in the Crown Store for 5,000 crowns. It's going to include the Orsinium DLC pack, the Cave Bear Mount, a Cave Bear Cub, and 5 Crown Experience Scrolls. So that's basically equals out to $40. So if you're interested in that, make sure you go get the DLC, and you're going to get some cool pets and stuff. Kind of just get a general package deal. So if you're interested in that, it's going to be on the DLC page for $40. So now into what I was talking about before. They did find out a lot of stuff through data mining. So we have some stuff. It's not completely confirmed. I feel extremely confident saying it's coming to the game because we have pictures and everything, and I'll put the pictures up on the screen as always. But we're just going to go through all these. We actually have a lot of items, so I'm just going to list them off and put pictures, and you guys can look at them and check them out. So first off, let's get into the costumes. Keep in mind that the costumes do come in packs of 3 usually, and they have so far, so no reason to think they're going to change that. And you know, these seem like they're coming in packs of 3. So we have the Breton Female Medium, the Breton Female Light, and the Breton Female High. Again, those will probably come in 1 pack. The Akaviri, the Akaviri motif looks like it might be for sale in the Crown Store. Not completely sure, but it looked like that in the data mining. So if you can't buy that when the DLC does launch, you should probably be able to buy that soon. We'll talk about in a little bit. It's supposed to come in with the DLC patch. It's something you can buy from vendors in the Alliance War with Alliance points, but it's possible it's also coming to the Crown Store at the same time. but it does look like it's definitely coming to Crown Store, at least if not with the patch and sometime after. We have the Snow Reach Medium, the Snow Reach Light, and the Snow Reach High. Again, those are going to be a package. The Red Guard Female High, the Red Guard Female Medium, and the Red Guard Female Light. We have the Orc Male Medium, the Orc Male Low, and the Orc Male High. And then we also had something that would look like Mercenary. I'm not sure if it's a pack or if it's a new style of armor. I'm guessing it's just a, a costume pack, but it was formatted a little differently than the others, so I'm not completely sure, but I think it's going to be a costume pack, so you can check that out on the screen right now. One cool thing is we're finally getting, civilian clothes. That kind of sounds weird, civilian clothes. We're finally getting, like, normal townspeople clothes that we can wear, so we don't have to constantly wear armor. It's really useful, actually, when you're role-playing, too. So that's something people have been asking for a while that we're finally getting, so pretty exciting. Again, keep in mind that was all found through data mining, so none of that's, like, completely confirmed to be coming soon, but it does definitely look like it's coming to the game. Now, moving on to mounts, we have the black bear, the white bear, the brown bear, the skeleton bear, which looks kind of weird. Definitely interesting, not like something we've seen before, but there is that if you're into it. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but you can take a look. It looks pretty kind of weird and different. But moving on, let's get into the pets that were found through the data mining. We have the domino pig, we have the polar bear cub, the brown bear cub, and the black bear cub. So most of those look like they're going to come with the DLC. Some of them might be, added after the DLC, I'm not sure, but I think most of them, if not all of them, are going to come with this new update, which is really cool. So my first thought is that my wallet is going to die because there's so many awesome things coming out. I'm going to buy so many of them, and I know I'm going to spend so much money with this DLC. But just really excited about some of this stuff. It looks really great. Good to see that they're finally putting really cool stuff in their Crown Store, and I think they're going to make a lot of money from it. So next, let's talk about the patch that's coming to everyone. Even if you don't buy the DLC, you're going to get this patch. And we got a lot of cool improvements that people have been asking for quite a while. So let's get into that. There's finally gamepad support for the PC. So that's coming with the new patch. It's not coming to the Mac, unfortunately. It is something they're working on, but it's not coming with this patch. So people have been asking for controller support for a while, so you finally have that. We also have subtitles coming, which is something people have complained about, so there are now subtitles. LFG improvements, this is huge. This is a huge update. You can now play with people in dungeons cross alliance. So if my friend's in the Altmary Dominion and I'm in the Ebonheart Pact, I can now do dungeons with him, which is really cool. It's going to make it so there's more people that you can play with, so looking for a group and getting in a dungeon isn't going to be as hard as it's been. If you think about it, there's now going to be 3 times as many, or 3 times as many people that you can play with in those dungeons. So that's something to look forward to, and it's definitely something that needs improvement. The looking for group tool has been kind of useless, so good to see that they're finally improving it. Big news also, the champion point cap and catch-up system is now going to be up. So if you don't have any champion points, you're going to be able to earn them quicker now. So you're going to be able to earn, the lower ones much faster than before. And if you have a lot of them, you're going to earn them slower. So it's trying to kind of even out the board and make it so not so many people have so many champion points, and some people will never catch up. And it ends up that you're just always going to be more powerful than everyone else, and they have no help of catching up. So that's why they put this into the game. They also put a maximum on 501 champion points. Now what that means is if you have 501 champion points invested, you can still earn them, but you can't spend them, and eventually they're going to raise that cap, and you'll be able to spend the ones you collected and got through doing the content and gaining XP. But for now, you're not going to be able to spend them. The max amount of champion points you're going to be able to put in is 501, and like I said, the cap will be raised eventually. Now we also have shield dying, which is awesome. Now I'm really just hoping we get weapon dying sometime soon, but if you do use the old sword and board, you're going to be able to dye that shield now, which is something that I think should have been in the original dying patch. So cool that it's coming now, and I know a lot of people are really happy with that. So there's also going to be improvements to the battle leveling. That just makes it so that you can choose, I think, how your character is scaled up, which is nice because everyone has a different build, so it kind of accompanies that, especially in Citadel. Like I said, the Akaviri crafting style is coming to the game with the patch. It's going to be for sale from Siege merchants in Cyrodiil, so you can buy those with your alliance points that you get from PvP. Now, like I said before, it looks like it might also be coming to the Crown Store with the DLC, if not with like a future update, but it is definitely coming to the Crown Store. So if you don't want to, do a lot of PvP, you can expect to buy that too. Akaviri style is pretty cool. It's pretty unique. It looks almost like samurai-ish. Definitely different than anything we have in the game right now. You're gonna have to have 9 skill points invested in your skill tree for that certain crafting. So if you're trying to make swords for smithing and blacksmithing, you're gonna have to have like those 9 skill points put into that certain skill area. If you craft, you know what I mean, you're gonna have to invest your skill points, so you're gonna have your crafting maxed out in order to craft the Akaviri style, and that's just so it's still for the players have reached the end game that can have like the coolest gear. That's kind of the point of that. There's also going to be various ability balances and bug fixes that come with the standard patch, but that pretty much does it for everything new coming to ESO. So I'm really excited about this DLC and the patch. It just seems like we're getting so much, in such a short period of time. Really excited to get new content, and looks like they just poured their souls into this DLC. It looks like so much is coming, and I'm super excited to get in game. So just, tell me what you guys think. If you guys are excited, tell me in the comments below. But it definitely looks excited. Again, the release date's November 2nd for the PC, and then later in the month for console. But that pretty much does it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Keep an eye out for more Elder Scrolls Online Saturdays, and when Orsinium does launch, I will of course be reviewing it. I do have a video coming out for my guild, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested in joining. And then, of course, we're going to have more videos over the week on the Star Wars Battlefront, on Far Cry Primal, giveaways. We have lots of cool videos, guys, coming, so make sure you guys stay tuned. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.